Well, how do I start? Rome is, quite special to me. I can't think of another place with more culture and heritage. The place basically defines history and defines what we think of the ancient world. It's a grand city of splendor at its precipice. Each step you take is past another great mark of history. Human history, our history. From Roman to medieval to Renaissance and now us, Rome is a story about us as a species and our constant evolution through time. Walking these streets, it's like taking a time machine back to almost any point in the last 3,000 years. It's time to explore Rome. The Colosseum hardly needs any explanation. Almost everyone on Earth knows about the Colosseum. Construction on this massive achievement began in 72 AD under Emperor Vespasian and was finally finished a mere 8 years later in 80 After Domini under his successor, Emperor Titus. It was the largest amphitheater ever built at the time and held around 50 to 80,000 spectators. That is massive. It was used for gladiatorial contests and public spectacles such as mock sea battles, animal hunts, executions, reenactments of famous battles, and dramas based on classical mythology. The building ceased to be used for entertainment in the early medieval era and was later reused as a Christian shrine. Although substantially ruined because of the earthquakes and stone robbers, the Colosseum is still an iconic structure of Imperial Rome and is listed as one of the 7 wonders of the world. I could go on all day about the Roman Forum, and heck, you could easily spend all day there. In ancient times, this was the center of the day-to-day life in Rome. It was the site of the government and the heart of the city. It was the venue for public speeches and the nucleus of commercial affairs. Here you'll find shrines, government buildings, and temples, some ranging from the old Roman kingdom around the 8th century BC to ruins dating to 300 AD. The Roman Forum today is a sprawling ruin of architectural fragments and constant archaeological excavations, attracting 4.5 million or more sightseers yearly. It's popular. Sitting atop the Roman Forum is Palatine Hill. This is the most ancient part of the city and is said to be the original site where Romulus and Remus were found in Roman mythology. Palatine Hill was originally the site of the wealthiest Roman residences. However, from the start of the empire, it became the site of the imperial palace, and gradually, over the years, became the exclusive domain of the emperors. The ruins here are absolutely spectacular, and I can only imagine how this would have looked almost 2,000 years ago. This place is huge, and these structures are monumental, but I guess that was the point. To be an absolute flex of Roman wealth and power. Even now, it makes one feel truly small. Don't let how busy it is discourage you. The Roman Forum is fantastic because you can really take it at your own pace. There are tons of tours you can take, but you know what? I find one of the best things to do is just do it yourself. Take a walk, spend the day. You won't be disappointed. Let's face it, Rome is a massive city with way too much to do. Even if you had months, you can really get overloaded trying to accomplish too much, and as a result, you'll miss the beauty of the city itself. Spend some time just wandering the streets, enjoy the food, enjoy the culture. This city has a fantastic subway system which is very easy to use, so don't worry too much about trying to catch taxis or Ubers. You can get around quite quickly, efficiently, and most importantly, cheaply by taking the subway. Don't worry too much about booking tours really far in advance either. By all means, do your research and have an idea of what's around. Some of the more niche tours can fill up quickly or may only happen on certain days. A great example of this was an exclusive evening tour of Nero's palace. It only operates during certain days and, as far as I'm aware, during certain seasons. It's an ongoing archaeological site, so you're right in with the action. I'm absolutely gutted that we missed that one. However, we found that most of the tours could be booked the day before or, in some cases, the day of. We found that by not having a plan, we stumbled across some of the most interesting sites on our trip. A great example of this would be the Baths of Diocletian, right across from the Roma Termini station. That blew us away, and it was something we stumbled upon completely by accident after some coffees. One thing that we did learn, however, was that if you're going to hit up the Colosseum during your stay in Rome, get there early, and I mean early. This is one of the busiest attractions in Rome. If you don't want to spend half your day in line, then go in the morning. It'll give you the opportunity to see a lot more of what this beautiful city has to offer. The Pantheon is hands down one of my favorite sites in not just Rome, but in the world. It's one of the best preserved of all ancient Roman buildings, in part because it's been in continuous use throughout its history, and since the 7th century has been used as a church. It was constructed on the site of an earlier temple commissioned by Marcus Agrippa during the reign of Augustus. It was completed by the Emperor Hadrian around 125 AD. That makes this building almost 2,000 years old. There simply is no other ancient site this old, this intact. Its magnificent dome is a lasting testimony to the genius of Roman architects, and as the building stands virtually intact, it offers a unique opportunity for us to step back 2,000 years and experience the glory that was Rome. And man, they had style. If you want to keep talking about impressive, almost 2,000 years after it was built, the Pantheon's dome is still the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome. You heard me right. To this day, it's an achievement which has never been bested. The oculus in the center of the dome measures 8.8 meters in diameter. Entry to the building is via 2 bronze doors measuring 12 meters in height. Nothing about this building is quaint. I truly suggest seeing this for yourself first before any other sites or tours in Rome. It will give a lot of perspective as to what the other sites may have looked like in ancient times. A great example of this will be the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill. What is now just vast ruins and collections of stone would have been grand structures and buildings much like this one, adorned in beautiful colored marble and intricate designs. It'll give you a new appreciation for what you're looking at and leave an even longer lasting impression after your trip has ended. The grandness of Rome is truly a marvel that's hard to even comprehend. And let's get real. What's a trip to Italy without stopping and trying all the fantastic food around every corner? Absolutely delicious. Catacombs are subterranean passageways that were used as a place of burial for a number of centuries. They are several kilometers long and form real labyrinths. The burials here began in the 2nd century and ended in the 5th century. The Christians did not agree with the pagan customs of burying the bodies of the dead. Land was too expensive and in short supply, so they created these vast underground cemeteries as a result. Though most famous for Christian burials, either in separate catacombs or mixed together, people of all Roman religions are buried in them. Castel Saint'Angelo, also known as the Mausoleum of Hadrian, was originally commissioned by the Roman Emperor Hadrian in 134 AD as a mausoleum for himself and his family. The building was later rebuilt time and time again, then used by the popes as a fortress and castle. It is now used as a museum. Hadrian's ashes were placed here after his death. Following this, the remains of succeeding emperors were also placed here until approximately 217. Much of the tomb's contents and decorations have been lost since the building's conversion to a military fortress in 401. The urns and ashes were scattered by Visigoth looters during the sacking of Rome in 410, and the original decorative bronze and stone statues were thrown down upon the attacking Goths when they besieged Rome in 537. The popes converted the structure into a castle beginning in the 14th century. Pope Nicholas III connected the castle to St. Peter's Basilica, covered by a fortified corridor called the Passetto di Borgo. The Papal State also used Sant'Angelo as a prison later on. The castle continued to be used as a military fortress until it was decommissioned in 1901. The castle is now a museum, the Museo Nazionale di Castel Saint'Angelo. It sports a fantastic array of weapons and armor that would have seen use within its walls throughout the centuries. There is also a restaurant located on the main level of the castle. It provides beautiful views of the city. Out of almost all the Roman sites, we found Sant'Angelo by far to be one of the less busy attractions. If you want to beat the crowds and enjoy a bit of space away from the masses, this is definitely somewhere that you should check out. At the very bottom of the mausoleum, they have a miniature model of what Hadrian's mausoleum would have looked like before it had been rebuilt throughout the centuries. It's a great way to get perspective on how these ancient sites have been repurposed throughout the ages. Thank you so much for watching our journey through Rome. It left quite an impression, and all I can say is that if you go once, you will definitely be coming back again. Check back for more videos of our Italia tour. Our next stop is Vatican City. Happy travels.